If trauma has laid its fingerprint on you, the bad news is you'll never be the same again. You can't take back the past, but what you can do, this is the good news, you can change the way that the past lives in your body. You can change the neurochemistry even of those memories that now reside in your nervous system. That is, you can heal. You can heal from trauma, but make no mistake, healing does not mean that you go back to the way things were before. Rather, what healing asks of us is to create a new life, one that is marked by self-love, by self-compassion, intentionality, growth, connection to community, emotional literacy. Sometimes for folks, it's an invitation to spirituality, because that is what healing trauma asks of us. But honestly, it's a better life. It's a better life. That's the invitation, because you already knew that opening to self-love was a good idea, that having more self-compassion was a good idea, that connecting in a more deep and authentic way, it was a good idea. Trauma also can give your life a new purpose when you start being of service to others who have been down like you've been down. So what that requires of you, though, is instead of medicating, instead of spilling out and being dysregulated all the time and indulging the emotions that come up for you, it asks something very daring of you, and that is to stop and turn around and face it. Face the truth of what's happened. When you turn around and face the truth of what happened, that's what actually opens the doorway that you've been invited to. And that is a daunting suggestion for many of us. That is like me asking you to walk into a horrible haunted house, really. So what's required if you want to go on that journey, if you want to answer the invitation, heed the call, is to work with others who know the terrain of trauma. And whether that's a therapist or an online course, I think coming together in community settings can be especially powerful, where we can hear each other's stories, where you are with other people who have been to hell and back, and hopefully with a teacher, a facilitator, a guide who's been to hell and back too, knows the map like the back of their hand because they've been there so many times. And that's where the course that I'm offering starting next week, UNSTUCK, which I've offered for 7 years, which really grew out of my experience of being to hell and back, that's where courses like that come in. UNSTUCK brings together something called parts work, which is the inner technology of internal family systems therapy, the #1 modality for healing trauma that we know about. And it brings that technology together with Buddhist mindfulness practices. So meditation techniques that you may have explored before, but never like this, because what we do is we bring these two worlds together so that we can turn your daily meditation practice into an atmosphere of healing, into an arena of trauma recovery, into an arena of what's called post-traumatic growth, which is another way of saying everything that I've been talking about in this video so far. That's the invitation. You'll get to participate in Zoom calls with a really cool group of beautiful people who are willing to have conversations that maybe you can't have anywhere else in your life. Emotionally real conversations about what it's really like, what it's really been like for you, what it's really been like for others, and most importantly, how we work with it, how we recover from it, how we transform it. There's also pre-recorded content, pre-recorded meditations and handouts and what have you, so that you can also move at your own pace, but also have a sense of accountability to stick with it and others with you in the process. It starts next Wednesday, and I hope to see you there.